Okay, so this is section 1.3 questions, and so of the style 30 to 33, these are finding the slope of a line through 2 points. And most people know how to do this, but I'll just give an example. If you're given the point like 7, 24, -3, -8, anything you like, okay? We can label these points x1, y1, x2, y2, and then the slope is just the change in y over the change in x. And the only thing you have to really be careful of, I guess, is making sure the negative sign is in the right direction. So it can be y1 minus y2 as long as it's also x1 minus x2. So y2 minus y1 in this case is going to be a huge negative value, -32, because I'm already taking -8 and subtracting 24 from it. And then x2 minus x1 is going to be -10, so that's quite silly. That's just 32 over 10, and I can reduce that to be 16 over 5. And that would be the correct way to leave the answer for this course. If you prefer, you could write it as 3.2. There's no harm in that because it's an exact answer. Hopefully that will give you enough help for numbers 30 through 33. Do note that number 33 has decimals, but it's not fractions. So most people should not be bothered by decimals. They work the same way as integers. Okay, and what about the next type of question, 35 through 39? Those are using a point and a slope to find the line, and then it says find 3 additional points. So it's just really basic practice with lines. So I'll just pick another question that's nearby. You should realize if m is equal to 0, it means you have a horizontal line. If m is equal to undefined or infinity, it means this kind of line. So this would be a y equals some constant. This is x equals some constant. And in that case, for example, if I were to give you the point 7, 14, and this is like -3, -8, okay, what would we do? Well, in this case, y is equal to 14. Y is the constant. But if it's an x equals constant line, this is x is equal to -3. So that's how you handle those two special cases. But then the standard case that you would handle, you would say something like, here's a point, and here's a slope, and how would you do that? Well, just y equals mx plus b. There's more than one way to do this. If you do it by a different method, that's totally fine. I don't care as long as you get the final answer in one of the correct forms. So that's m, this is x, this is y. Dump everything in and find b. Alright, so y is equal to m x plus b. Subtract 14 from each side to find b. And one of the most common problems math students make at all levels, not just your level, all levels, is they forget to put back your variables into your final form so that you can answer the question. So yeah, so this is just a human issue, and it has nothing to do with your ability to do the mathematics. Just please remember, after you've found your variables, reassemble everything into your final answer. Okay, I think that takes care of that class of problems. Let's go to the next one. Okay, 65 through 68. This question has to do with parallel and perpendicular lines, and it's just asking, are the lines parallel, perpendicular, or neither? And so here's the fact you need. Parallel lines share the same slope. So I'm looking at the textbook and I'm just grabbing these. I'm saying, okay, question 65, they're parallel, 66, they're parallel, and 67, 68, they're negative reciprocals, so they are perpendicular. So in this case, m1 equals m2 says that If you have a line y is equal to m1x plus b, and another line y equals m2x plus b, if the two slopes are the same, then the lines are parallel. But perpendicular lines well, you either have one slope is equal to 0 and then the other slope is equal to infinity. That's one way they can be perpendicular, or m1 times m2 is equal to -1. So example like y is equal to 2/3 x plus 7 versus y is equal to minus 3/2 x plus whatever you want. The important part is if you take this value and you multiply it together, you get -1. That's all that matters. Okay, so that takes care of that class of problems. And finally, what about this question 95? We actually talked about that in class. That is a depreciation question, and so I'll pick a different depreciation question, like number 96, which is actually slightly more difficult. So number 96, you start with an object which is $24,000 in value at time 0, and then at time 10 it has $2,000 value. Your homework assignment, the only difference is this value will be $0. But other than that, the process is the same. Now you go ahead and use the same techniques you've always used to find the slope between 2 points. So here's your x1, y1, x2, y2, and you can ignore the $sign until the end and put it back on at the very end of the problem. So you find the slope is change in y over change in x, I guess. Something seems wrong. I'm not sure why. But there you go. Okay. So then you have y equals m, but it's actually, oops, I know what happened. I forgot the negative sign. And y is equal to m x plus, and then here's the y-intercept in this case. You can solve for it like we did in the last question. This is already given there. You don't have to. And x is equal to years, so you could turn it into t for time if you prefer. Okay, so your problem 95 should look exactly like that, except different numbers. All right, and that's all you need to know about section 1.3.